This is the new 2026 Tesla Model Y. And that is the old Model Y, which is the best-selling EV and SUV in the world. Has the new Model Y been upgraded enough to keep that crown? Let's find out. Here at Edmunds, we test everything. And the only way for us to get our hands on any Tesla product is to buy one and add it to our 1-year road test fleet, where we live with cars on a daily basis just like you. So, if you're curious what it's like to live with anything from an F-150 Lightning to a 1991 Acura NSX, or if you just want to follow along on this car's journey, head on over to edmunds.com/yearlong. And if you appreciate our unbiased and expert car reviews, which you should, hit that like and subscribe button below. So, we bought this, a 2026 Model Y launch series. That's essentially a fully loaded, long-range, all-wheel drive trim. We've owned 7 different Teslas over the years, and they've not been without their, well, more than fair share of issues. From drive unit failures on our 2013 Model S to the truly awful ride quality on our 2020 Model Y Performance, we have had plenty to complain about over the years. That all changed, finally, with the newly updated Model 3. Improved build quality, a better ride, and more comfort overall actually led it to win the Edmunds Top Rated Electric Car Award for 2025, which, if you ask us, is kind of a big deal. So, naturally, we need to see if the new Model Y follows in the 3's footsteps. Now, while this isn't technically an all-new vehicle, you're not gonna have a hard time distinguishing the new Model Y from the old one, and that's thanks to this totally redesigned front end. We've got a Cybertruck-esque front light bar here, which thankfully is the only piece of Cybertruck design on the car, and the whole front end is just a bit more angular overall. Down here, we've actually got this new front-facing camera that Tesla says aids the car and helps it see more of what's going on around it. Unfortunately, despite that, and despite the vast number of cameras around the rest of this car, there's still no true 360-degree bird's eye camera view inside. Tesla, please tell me why. Down along the sides, the new Model Y is effectively the same as the old one, but once we come around the back here, we start to see some changes again, and that's most evident here in the taillights. While the overall shape on the outer parts remains mostly the same, the center part actually gets this effective light bar, and what I mean when I say effective is that the actual lighting element is hidden up in the trunk here, and it projects down into this plastic panel, so at night, it looks like there's a light bar, but in reality, this panel is indirectly illuminated. It's a cool idea and concept, but I do think that this execution could have been done a little bit better because, especially when the light's off, this just looks like an unfinished plastic panel. The new Model Y gets a redesigned interior that's mostly the same as the Model 3's, except for one key difference, and it's something that makes me very, very happy. Folks, we still have a turn signal stalk. Thank God. Whereas the Model 3 has buttons on the steering wheel for turn signals that are frankly unintuitive to use and a solution to a problem that quite literally did not exist, in the Model Y, we still have a tried and true turn signal stalk. Otherwise, this is the same touchscreen dominant, minimalistic cabin that Tesla is known for, but it feels better built and higher quality now. Just about everything is controlled through this central touchscreen, including things like directing the air vents, turning on the newly available ventilated front seats, and even your lights. It also includes the gear shift, and that's a feature that I'm not really sold on. It's easy enough to use, but in practice, there are some hiccups. On multiple occasions since I've been driving this car, it's failed to go into the gear that I thought I selected, and frankly, I don't really think that was my fault. I did the motion I was supposed to do, and the car just didn't read it. That's a problem. To their credit, Tesla does do a better job of this whole touchscreen for everything methodology than most other automakers do, but the reality is it's still super annoying to have to take your eyes off the road and look at a screen to do nearly everything. It's distracting and frankly unsafe. Listen, I just want to adjust where the air vents are pointed. I don't need to play a minigame to do it. Like all Teslas, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto aren't available, but honestly, that doesn't really bother me here because Tesla's own infotainment is pretty good. Just about every material in here feels leagues better than it did in the old Model Y, especially the quality of the faux leather seats. And hey, while they're still faux leather, we're saving the planet, folks. I also really like the addition of this new fabric accent up here on the dash and on the doors. The materials still aren't quite as good as some competitors offer, but it's definitely a step up from what we had before. We've also got this new strip of ambient lighting that encircles the whole cabin, and honestly, I'm such a sucker for fun lighting. It's a really nice way to dress up the cabin, and it's a big upgrade over the old Model Y's pretty simple footwell lights. Additionally, the front seats and rear seats are now perforated, and the front ones are available with ventilation, which is one of my all-time favorite car features, especially in a car like this with a full glass roof that, for some reason unbeknownst to me, still doesn't have a sunshade. We've also got upgraded storage solutions. The center console is a little bit bigger, a little bit deeper, and all the door pockets, kind of similar story. It's a little bit wider, better access, so you have places for all your water bottles. Stay hydrated, folks. Tesla also added a few additional speakers around the cabin to upgrade the Model Y's sound system, and honestly, it sounds great. Overall, this is a much nicer place to be than before, and it feels like it's finally on par with its competitors. Here in the backseat, there are two big things that set the Model Y apart up first. This guy. This is essentially a baby version of the touchscreen up front with a little less functionality. We've got your air vent controls, your heated seat controls, we've got your music, we've even got an arcade mode, and you can stream Netflix or Hulu. Who doesn't love that? It is in kind of an awkward position, but hey, at least it's there. Additionally, these back seats, they're power folding now, which also means that they're power reclining, although they don't go back very far. Cargo capacity both in the trunk and up here in the front remains the same, but we do get one big upgrade up here, and that is the addition of this drain plug. And that'll allow you to fill up the Model Y's trunk with ice and your favorite beverages and drain it all when it melts. Perfect for tailgating or frunking, anybody? Now, none of this is gonna change your life, but it does put the Model Y on a more level playing field with its competitors. Most importantly, how does the new Model Y drive? Well, Tesla's actually made some major changes here, which has to do with the ride quality. One of our chief complaints with the previous Model Y was the way it went down the road. It just was too stiff no matter what trim level you were driving. Now with this new car, Tesla's actually recalibrated the suspension and made it a point to smooth out that ride quality. Let me tell you right now, whatever they did, it worked. It is way more comfortable going down the road. Now, while the ride is smoothed out for sure, that's not to say that it's no longer sporty. That was a good quality of the old Model Y. It handles well, it feels composed in the twisties, and this is definitely the same thing. You just get some more compliance when things get bumpy. The old Model Y wasn't exactly loud inside, as it is an EV after all, but this new car has quite a bit more sound insulation, and that results in a much quieter cabin. Plus, there's no creaks or rattles inside, and I couldn't say that about many examples of the last car. Like its predecessor, the new Model Y has plenty of power, and Tesla actually claims a 0 to 60 time of 4.1 seconds for this long-range all-wheel drive model. That's about 0.7 seconds faster than the old car in the same trim. Now, that feels about right to me, but we'll have to get it down to our test track to verify that claim. Just like the new Model 3, the updated Model Y feels a lot better to drive. It should also have a little extra range, which is a nice bonus considering that that's always been a strong suit anyway. Tesla claims 327 miles of range for this trim, which is up from 311 miles for the previous car in the same trim. Now, when we got the last Model Y out for the Edmunds EV range test, it outperformed its EPA estimate with 330 miles on a single charge. So we'll be interested to see how the new Y does in the real world. Stay tuned to the channel to find out. Including destination and Tesla's order fee, this launch series Model Y costs just over $61,000. And that does include Tesla's full self-driving supervised software, which is their hands-free driving assistant. Less expensive trims are coming down the line, but for now, this is all you can get. And that means that the Model Y doesn't really stand out as a value proposition. But let's go back to our original question. Has Tesla done enough to keep the Model Y at the tip top of the sales charts? The reality is, only time will tell, but it sure is a hell of a lot better than the outgoing car. So, how does it stack up against an ever-expanding and constantly improving field of other electric SUV options? Well, I am so glad you asked. We're gonna find out that and more in an upcoming comparison test when we put this Model Y up against a few of its competitors. So stay tuned to the channel, and if you haven't already, because you ignored me the first time, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching.